Postscript. It has been said that no trace can be found of the printed secret Commonwealth before 1815. The present editor is inclined to believe that in 1699 the work was still in manuscript. In Lord to Lord Rees by Mr. Samuel Pepys, October 24th, 1699, he says, "I have got a manuscript since I came to Scotland, whose author, though a parson, after giving full account of the second sight, defends there being no sin in it, which the first opportunity I shall send you a copy of his books." This description answers very well to Kirk's treatise, and no other contemporary work of which I am acquainted, unless it be a discourse of second sight, by the Reverend Mr. John Fraser, minister of Tyrian Hall. There were, doubtless, other parsons busy with these topics, and the minister of Rarick informs me that several MSS by Mr. Telfer, author of the tract, already quoted, were only dispersed in 1877. Examples of these clerical psychical researchers may be found in C.K. Sharp's prefatory notes to Law's Memorials, Edinburgh, 1818. Such as one is Reverend Robert Knox, who writes from Cavers to the Reverend Mr. Wiley on the case of Sir George Maxwell of Pollock. He dare not attribute his mediumship of Janet Douglas positively to an evil cause. It is our ignorance of any natural agent that makes us impute the effects of evil spirits, from Memorials, page 75. Moreover, Lord Ray writes of his parson were still alive in 1699, whereas Mr. Kirk went to his own herd in 1692. I am promised the acquaintance of this man, of which I am very covetous. Lord Ray was the Turnus, and may not have heard of the mishap which carried the minister of Aberfoyle to Fairyland. It may be added that Dr. Hicks writes to Mr. Pepys about Neolithic arrowheads as a subject of near alliance to that of second sight and to witchcraft, which is akin to them both. He also speaks of a very tragical and authentic story told me by the Duke of Lauderdale, which happened in the same family of Sir John Dalrymple, Laird of Stair, and then Lord President. His Grace had no sooner told it to me, but my Lord President coming into the room, he desired my Lord to tell it himself, which, altering his countenance, he did with a very melancholic air, but it is so long since I dare not trust my memory with relating the particulars of it. James 19th, 1700. Dr. Hicks calls the first Lord Stair John. Scott calls him James. There can be no doubt that Dr. Hicks refers to the woeful tale of the Bride of Lammermoor, who died in September 12, 1669. Law, in his memorial, says that she was hurled through the house by spirits, he means. By hurling, or tossing about the patient, probably epileptic, we have noticed in many of the old stories as a modern instance of Mr. H. Now, in his introduction to the Bride of Lammermoor, Scott gives all the authorities at his command, Law, Symon's Elegy, and Hamilton in Wetland's Satire, which avers that Satan seized the bride and threw the bridegroom from the nuptial bed. Sir Walter was unacquainted with Dr. Hicks' hint, which accidentally produces the bride's own father as evidence for the story which was plainly regarded as supernatural. It is most unlucky that Dr. Hicks distrusted his own memory. However, it is more something to feel assured that a memorable story was accepted at the time by the family of the bride, and was known to Lauderdale. Lauderdale himself, by the way, was a psychical researcher, and accommodated Richard Baxter with some accounts of haunted houses, published in his World of Spirits. One story of a haunted house where the spectral hand appeared he gives on authority of the Reverend James Sharp, afterwards the famous Archbishop. Lauderdale inspected the famed London nuns, and saw only wanton wenches singing bawdy songs in French. His letter to Mr. Baxter is dated March 12, 1659. His best haunted house is of the Epworth type.